Hello everyone, this is Charanya Nagamal, Assistant Professor, Department of IT, Fatima College, Madurai. So here we are going to see about the topic Entity Relationship Model, that is ER model. What is meant by modeling? A database can be modeled as a collection of entities, relationship among entities. And what is entity? An entity is an object that exists and is distinguishable from other object. Example, person or plant. And the next one is what is meant by attribute. An attribute is it specifies the characteristics of an entity. Example, a person must have name and address, etc. And what is meant by entity set is a set of entities of the same type that share the same properties. For example, set of all persons, set of companies, set of trees, etc. And the next topic is entity relationship model. What is entity relationship model is consist of entity set, relationship set and attributes. Let us see one by one. So attributes can be divided into simple and composite attributes, single valued and multi-valued attributes and derived attributes. What is meant by simple attributes? It's our atomic values which cannot be divided. For example, register number of a student. And what is composite attributes is it's composed of many other attributes. Example, name, it composed of first name, middle name and last name. Similarly, we have an address and this can be composed of street, city, state and pin code, etc. And single valued attributes, it can have a single value at a particular instant. Example, age of a person. And the multi-valued attributes must have more than one values. Example, address. Derived attributes means the value for this type of attributes can be derived from the values of other related attributes or entities. Example, we can derive the value for the date of birth attribute from the another attribute called age. So this is the pictorial representation of the entity relationship diagram. So here how the diagram can be represented by using the different shapes. We use the rectangles which specifies the two section, one as a name of the entity set and another as a name of the all attribute of an entity set. And a diamond represents the relationship set between the two entities. And undivided rectangles represents the attribute of a relationship set. Attributes that are the part of the primary key or underlined values. Line can be used to link the entity set to the relationship set. And the dashed line is used to link the attributes of a relationship set to another relationship set. Double line indicates total participation of an entity set in a relationship set. And a double diamond represent identifying the relationship set linked to the another relationship set. So this is the as a table. A rectangle is used for entity set, ellipse is used for attributes, diamond for relationship set, lines used to link the attributes, double diamond represent multi-valued attributes, dashed line represent derived attributes, double line it's used for total participation, and a double rectangle is used for weak entity set. So here is an example, that is teachers is a relationship set between the two entities student and staff with an attributes register number, address and name for the student, name and register number for the staff. And this is the another example. Doctor is one entity, patient is another entity, and what is the relationship between these two entities are trees. So this is an example for multi-valued attributes, derived attribute. Here we have the entity as customer with a certain attributes, and with the name we have first name, middle name, last name, that is multi-valued, composed of multi-value. And next one is address. This is also composed of multiple value, that is city, state, pin code and street. And for the mobile number we have Either it may be a phone or it may be a landline, and age is the derived attribute from the another attribute. And the next one is borrows is a relationship between two attribute customer and the loan with the specified loan number and amount. The next one is constraints. So how can we set a constraints? By using the mapping cardinalities and the keys. So this mapping cardinality is defined as it is a cardinality ratio that can be expressed the number of entities to which another entity can be associated with through a relationship set. For a binary relationship set, the mapping cardinality can be categorized as four types. One is one to one to many to one, and many to many. One to one refers an entity in A associated with at most one entity in B, and similarly an entity in B is associated with at most one entity in A. And for one to many, an entity in A is associated with any number of entities in B, and for entity in B can associated with at most one entity in A. That is for one to many. This is the example for one to one and one to many. Next one, many to one. An entity in A is associated with at most one entity in B, and an entity in B, however, can be associated with any number of entities in A. And the next one is many to many. An entity in A is associated with any number of entities in B, and similarly entities in B is associated with any number of entities in A. So this is the diagrammatic representation of many to one and many to many. So as we take with an ER, that is entity relationship with the cardinality specification, one-to-one relationship between the two entities, instructor and a student, can be represented as an instructor is associated with at most one student and a student is associated with at most one instructor through a relationship called advisor. And the same within one to many relationship can be referred as an instructor is associated with several students and a student is associated with one instructor through the advisor relationship. And how to specify the many to one? Many to one represented as an instructor is associated with at most one student and a student is associated with several instructors by using the same advisor relationship. And how to specify many to many? So many to many specifies an instructor is associated with several students. Similarly, students is associated with several instructors with the same advisor relationship set. Next one is participation of an entity set in a relationship. There are two types of participation. One is total participation, another one is partial participation. Total participation is referred as every entity in the entity set participates at least one relationship in the relationship set. And partial participation specifies some entities may not participate in any relationship in the relationship set. So here is an example. Here participation of section in section course is stored, and for partial participation of instructor in advisor is partial. And the next one is we have some of the extended ER features. What are all some extended features of ER model is specialization, generalization, attribute inheritance, and aggregation. Specialization refers, it's a process of designating subgroupings within an entity set is called a specialization. Example, a person can be specialized as employee and customer. And generalization is referred to as, it's a bottom-up design process which combines a number of entity set that shares the same features into a higher level entity set. Here, employee may be referred to as officer or admin or a clerk. An attribute inheritance is an attribute of a high level entity set or said to be inherited by the lower level entity set. Here, employee is a officer, admin or clerk. The attributes of employee can be used as an attribute of officer as well as to the admin and as well as to the clerk. And aggregation referred to as it's an abstraction through which relationships are treated as a higher level attributes. Thank you.